Hello and welcome to this video about pedagogy for transformation and evolution. My name is Harriet Fagerholm. I'm from Finland, Helsinki, and I'm a co-creative guide, healer, and also a teacher.
Hello, my name is Victoria Subirana. I'm from Spain. I'm a teacher, and I have worked for 30 years in Nepal, establishing schools for the so-called Dalits, poor children or the outcast, and for marginalized communities.
We are creating this video series to enlighten the way of the pedagogy we see as very, very necessary in today's world. And we try to share our experiences both from the perspective of the work Victoria has been doing with the small children and how they have been trained to really evolve their minds, to become aware of their critical thinking and to become free thinkers. And we have shared about my perspective of doing this in adult life and how much more challenging it is. So we have a mission to spread this knowledge all over the world. And this video is called Peacemaking. And Victoria, I know you have a special practice and technique, how you were teaching children about peace. And to make peace, practically, you don't only talk about it, you do it.
Exactly, Harriet. In fact, what I understood from my perspective, being in a country like Nepal that are more than 35 ethnic groups, so-called caste system, and so many differences in religions also, and like economical differences and geographically speaking also differences. I realized that there was a need for unifying all those differences, and instead of looking at what is different from one to one, create some materials that will generate the opposite, especially when there is a conflict. Because I believe that the peace, it's a very beautiful word, but when it's only at this upper level, when it's only at the intellectual level, it doesn't work if you do not practice. And peace means construction, the construction of peace with the attitude and the appropriate materials to avoid conflict and to turn the conflictive situations into opportunities for learning. In this regards, I always practiced in the classrooms of Pedagogy for Transformation, the peacemaking corner. We have a corner in the Solving Conflicts workshop. It's a very simple, just a mosquito net hanging from the roof with two cushions on the base where two children or more children or adults could sit there if there is a conflictive situation that could not be settled in the normal classroom or in the, whatever premises of the school. Then the children will go there and they will have a meeting with the concerned person, with the person who is there, the teacher or the guru who is there in the Solving Conflicts room, and will take instructions. So when two or more children enter into a discussion, those children do not have the capacity, the mood, and the full awareness as to remain in the classroom without interrupting and without distracting the subject or the curriculum going on. Even if the teacher would like to create peace within the environment, when two children or more students enter into conflict, it's very difficult to do both. Come to terms with the conflict and continue and respect the flow of the so-called mathematics or language teachings. Then what we do, we take them to the Solving Conflicts corner, to the Solving Conflicts workshop, and we ask them to go to the peacemaking corner. And they will have to find out a solution based, open 5 different meeting points, let's say, the same food they would like to cook together and share. Even if they have a conflict that they do not meet and they are coming up with a lot of differences, they have to come up with 5 union points from which they will write a plan, and they will meet together and do 5 activities that will unite them despite of many other differences. So the children, they can keep their difference intact no matter, because they are different one another, and we should never try to convince someone to take our beliefs by force. No matter about that, we are not discussing about that. But instead of taking that as a point of quarrel and war and hate and becoming to feel the others like our enemies, we will take that as an advantage for learning, thinking, okay, if there are 10 points, let me see, within the 10 points of disagreement, if I can find 5 different links that will approach one another, will reunite one another, and we'll find activities to go together for rafting. Maybe we share the same passion for singing, so let's put on music group, and we still can disagree. We still can disagree in our political views or our religious views, but we have to find out the place where we meet, and there is the peacemaking corner for. Then the children will write their agreements, and in the Ensemble for Evolution, they will stand, the group of people or the 2 who were in disagreement, they will stand there, they will read the agreement, the contract, and they will ask for witness. Look, here and now, we have decided that although we still could not get to terms with this and this point, we, after many discussions, are agree in 1 or 2, and then in order to get acquainted with more beautiful things and point out the beautiful things amongst one another, rather than losing our time and our energy discussing about what makes us different, we have decided to do the following. Then they will sign, they will ask for the witness, and all the plans are there on the walls. Then the schools, in my opinion, the schools of the future, if we want to end with our wars and we want to end with our political disagreements and differences in terms of economical disadvantages and many other differences, we have to start today to construct schools in which the school materials will give the children the opportunity to be peace builders, because you do not build the peace of tomorrow, being an adult, if you have not been taught and given the opportunity to grow in a peaceful environment with this kind of teachings. And there is another approach also that we'll discuss it later, because now I would like to invite Harriet, being such a great therapist and healer, and I know she will address many of her experiences to the early childhood teaching, because if you don't solve these things when you are small, you carry out this anger, aversion, hate towards others that do not hold the same beliefs. And then they go to Harriet studio with, with the soul full of hatred and other negative emotions. So Harriet, what do you think about this topic?
Oh, this is so important. I really, when I listen to you again, I could sense in that, by providing this kind of teaching for our children worldwide, world peace is a possibility. Without this kind of renewal of the way we are educating the future peace builders, I must say I don't have that positive outlook, because when you look at the world, creating peace seems to be the issue we are constantly, facing with our disabilities, of how to do it in practice. And your methodology showed really concretely there are so many steps and you have to put time for it. Peace is a decision. It's an intention. And we all have to do our own peace work inside ourselves. And that it is related to forgiveness, what we will talk about shortly.
Exactly.
But peace, for me, is also related to justice. Where there has been injustice already from early childhood, that injustice will create the inner anger and even bitterness, which has to be addressed for a human to make peace with your own experiences, with what life has brought you, what you have not been able to choose yourself. So you have to do that inner peace work so that you can also radiate that peace to the others, because when you are at peace with yourself, you will be also at peace with others much more easily. So peace work is something we should really take in as an own subject, I think, absolutely. And peace is also related to power, the struggles of power.
Yes.
I asked once one of the major peacemakers from Finland, Elisabeth Rehn, who has been mediating in these war areas where especially women and children have been abused and used in war. I asked her directly, what do you think is the root cause of the war and of wars in general? And it is power, she said. Power. And when we still have the culture that there is a power over struggle, that there is a perpetrator and a victim, so always there will be victims needed. And we see how this pattern is playing out worldwide still. So before we can come into a co-creative space where we realize that we all win and gain on the power with, that when I am in my power and I can be in my full power, whether I'm a woman or a man, or whether my religion is this or that, I have the full right to be in my power. And I give that to everyone around me, and accepting their points of views, but accepting also their equality as a human being. Then we can see a new world.
What she just mentioned is very important. And remember, you only acquire, you only master the things that you practice, those things that you are committed to, those things that you set up a timetable, you are consistent upon the performance. And then similarly with all these acquisitions, and you have to include them into your daily practice. And the schools are full of materials, full of equipments, very well-organized labs to address the learning of academic, intellectual, technique concepts, scientists concepts. But so far I haven't seen, until I decided to create my own school, Pedagogy for Transformation School, I haven't seen materials and tools in the classroom that will invite children to practice all those values that, Harriet has been talking about, and we have been together putting in relevance in our videos. So I thought that there is a need for the materialization of our objectives, even in the classroom structure. So those materials are visible, and the children have the opportunity to recall the use of this material every time they see them hanging on the wall or in the Solving Conflicts workshop. There is a very precious material that has been a gift to me, a material that I call the box of forgiveness. That material was constructed with bamboo boxes, little bamboo boxes, but the shape of bamboo, so ensembled together in a shape. So if I had 25 children in the classroom, each child will have the name of the child and the photo at the door of that box. So the box can be opened up, and inside the box, the children have the right, had the opportunity to address in short notice, or to write a letter, or to draw something related to forgiveness when they have an issue with a colleague in the classroom setting, when there is a problem, when there is a contradiction, when you committed a mistake that you are sorry about and you want someone to forgive you for that. If your name is there and I have something to apologize for, I will go and I will open the little, door of the box, and I will write down, I'm so sorry, Harriet, today I was not in a good mood. I don't know what happened to me, but I lost control of my actions and I told you things that I was not supposed to tell you, and I'm so sorry, please accept my forgiveness. And then if the box is there, every time you go across, unconsciously, that material is telling you that you have the opportunity to come to terms with your regrets, to come to terms with your anger, to come to terms with your negative passions, and to, finish the unfinished business today before leaving the school and before going back home. Then the children every day, there is a time where they open the box, and sometimes they stand there and they share. They say, today I received this apologize from Harriet. And then there is when you have to receive the apologize, because sometimes there is the case that I will apologize or she will apologize to me. Victoria, look, this happened to me. I'm sorry. I will find that letter. I will find the letter of apologize of Harriet in my box. The box is there. So I open, Harriet's apologize letter. And I will say, no way I'm apologizing. What do you think? No, I'm not. I will never ever forgive. I will never ever take the forgiveness. I will. Then the one who was the victim becomes the guilty. Because accepting forgiveness, it's another of the most important tools to peacemakers. So those kind of people who never, she was not true when she came to ask me for forgiveness. It doesn't matter. It's not your problem. It's her problem. If she came to apologize and if she has written you a letter of forgiveness, accept with love and happiness that forgiveness, accept the forgiveness letter. Otherwise, you become the guilty and she is your victim because she deserves to be apologized and she deserves to be given second opportunity. Then these kind of instruments are very, very powerful in a classroom setting. Do not forget that we are making peace every day with our peaceful attitude, our peaceful thoughts, our peaceful words, and our peaceful actions. So thank you very much for addressing this.
Oh, thank you, Victoria. So beautiful. And I think in every family there should be a box of forgiveness as well. Exactly. Even in the workplaces. Those workplaces who want to apply transformational leadership, because there is no such power, more transformational power than true forgiveness and the receptivity to receiving that forgiveness, so that you can let go. Because when you are holding on to old grudges, old hurts, you will not be free. They will be there polluting your mind. So be aware of what you are holding on to and ask for forgiveness and give forgiveness every time. Let's all create more peace builders in this world. Thank you for being with us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.